Namaskaram. Do you want an audiologist or a speech language pathologist job in Australia? Then this video is for you. I have previously made videos on how to get speech therapy and audiologist job in US and UK. And if you haven't watched those, I'll put the link in the comment section. Before we start, as you can see on the screen, I have many people watch my videos, but only 3% of the people have subscribed to the channel. And rest of the 96% of the people, they watch and leave. So if you think this information is helpful and beneficial, please subscribe, share, and like. And I'm 100% sure the information what I'm going to share right now, you cannot find those on YouTube or Google. All right, let's get started. Hi, Julie. How are you doing?
Hi. Hi, I'm good. How about you?
Good, I'm doing good. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for what you're doing because many people don't do this. Because even though they know the information, how to actually go to that country and work as in the field of speech and hearing, they won't share it. The reason is they'll think that, if I share the information how to come to Australia or UK, they'll think that, all my friends will come here too. Because, we're all humans. They all have that jealousy, right? But for that, I have to appreciate you for having that good mind or good heart to actually share the information or the process to all of us. Thank you for that. So I will let you introduce yourself first.
Okay, my name is Julia. So I am from Kerala, India. I have been in Australia for around 2 years at the moment. Yeah, and pretty
Yeah.
that much. I work as an audiologist, full-time audiologist here in Australia. Yeah.
Okay, so so you completed your bachelor's and master's in India, right? Could you tell me about what you did, like BSLP or MSc? What did you do?
I completed my bachelor's in speech language pathology and audiology from S.R. Chandrasekhar Institute of Speech in here in Bangalore. And post which I did my master's in audiology from ISH as well. I completed it in 2020. Post which I worked in Kolar. Like it's basically clinical plus university kind of setup for around 2.5 years.
Okay, so this is just to clear that you have all your education done in India and then you actually moved to Australia. Gotcha. So to keep it simple for it, to make it easy for you and me, I have set up like 10 questions. So I'll ask you the questions and you can share the information you have. Is that good?
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah.
Okay. So again, the first question was actually, are you working as an audiologist or a speech pathologist? So you already answered that you're already working as an audiologist. So that question is clear. So, so the second question is it easy to get a speech therapist job or an audiologist job in Australia when you're coming from India?
Definitely audiologist. Basically, because the process, of course, you do have to clear so many exams, both with respect to audiology as well as speech language pathology. But when it comes to speech language pathology, the standards are a bit more higher, like basically the IELTS and things like that. And the protocols are a bit different, where it makes it a bit complicated. So basically, with respect to IELTS, as of what I know, the minimum score should be around 8 for all the bands and things like that. So usually it's a bit hard to get a 8 and things like that. So definitely that process compared to the audiology process is a bit hectic and difficult. So if you can just, the answer is definitely audiology compared to, yeah.
Okay, so I guess many people who actually move from India to Australia, actually, they all end up in audiology, I believe, right?
Mostly, yes, but I do know people who come as speech language pathologists as well.
Okay.
But maybe they might have did some sort of studies from Australia, and then maybe they might have to do masters again, or something like that. There's a catch always when it comes to speech language pathologists. But usually, audiology would be like basically just clearing all the exams and getting a membership and just working. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, because actually, it's the same information I got from one of my a classmate. One of my actually two of my bachelor classmates are actually working in Australia as well, and one of them is actually working as an audiologist. And they told me the same thing. To become a speech pathologist in Australia, it's very difficult because of the language barrier. They give more importance to that. And basically, I
Yeah,
guess you have to have the clear pronunciation, and the way of talking has to be just like Australian
yeah,
English, right? Okay.
yeah, yeah. Even those people who, who work as SLPs change their job because of this issues with respect to accent and things like that. So
Okay.
yeah, as I said, there are people. I mean, we do get jobs.
Hmm.
We can apply via LinkedIn, and there are people who get the job,
Hmm.
but basically they fail all the other standards, which
Gotcha.
ultimately end up, yeah.
To actually get the license, I believe, right?
To actually get the license, yes, yes. Because as of I know, they'll have to show some videos with respect to each disorders like voice, fluency, how we assess, how we diagnose, how we take therapy, and things like that. Yeah. So
So,
it's
so
not just IELTS part, but all the other aspects as well. Yeah.
got you. So it's not just the IELTS; they have other exams to clear so
Yeah.
that they can get the certification. So to keep it simple, it's audiologist. To if you are planning to
Yeah.
move to Australia, pursuing an audiology career is much easier than speech pathology.
Unless otherwise you're not planning to study something like do masters and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, in speech. Okay, that makes sense. So, what is the minimum education to get a speech out to? You said audiology, right? So, what is the minimum education you should have when you're actually moving from India to Australia to get an audiology or speech pathologist job?
Okay. So to work as an audiologist,
Uh-huh.
you need masters. So here the thing is there are two things. One is audiometrist
Uh-huh.
and the second one is audiologist. So if you want to become like a proper audiologist as per our qualification, we need masters. But
Okay.
to become an audiometrist,
Mhm.
you can have your bachelor's as well. But it's not too easy to come through, just after your bachelor's at the moment to become an audiometrist.
Oh, okay. I guess because Australia is a point system, right? So if you have masters, you have much better points. Okay, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
That's one thing. Second thing, all the work visas, even the work visas, coming to work visas, they hire people as audiologists, not audiometrists. So again, they will have issues with because the work visa category is work visa 482 audiologist
okay.
instead of audiometrist. So even when you come like as an audiometrist, I
Mhm.
mean, or, by via the work visa, it will be difficult if you just have you
Bachelor.
know bachelor's. Yeah.
So to keep it simple, if you have masters, you have a
No.
better chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. The reason I'm asking because if when you go to UK, you don't have to have a master's. You can have bachelor's and you can work. But in US, just like Australia, you have to have masters. All right. So
Yeah.
next question is, so I know that you actually did all the process from India and you came to Australia and became an audiologist. So would you tell me what were the documents you had to have when you actually, applied for the job in Australia, like the transcript? Could you just tell me what are the documents you required from your college and university in India, back in India?
Yeah, if it's just the job,
Mhm.
then of course you need all the marks card for both bachelor's as well as masters and the transcripts.
Mhm.
And then of course you need experience certificates.
Mhm.
So here it's something which is called a statement of service, wherein there is a particular format wherein they give what's the experience, and there are certain criteria and standards which we have to meet.
Okay.
So we'll have to submit all of these things,
Okay.
and along with that, there is something which is called as a skill assessment. Also, it's called as a wet assessment,
Mhm.
which is done via the government of Australia. So we again have to submit a couple of documents, including the IELTS,
Mhm.
to get a positive skill assessment, and we'll have to submit that as well to go ahead with that. Yeah,
Okay, so basically from India, you need the transcript, you need the marks card, and you need
marks card.
what about the clinical competence certificate? You need that one too?
No, no, it's not mandatory.
Okay, so the transcript, does it has to be from the university or from the college itself is fine too?
It has to be from the university.
Has to be
Yes.
from the university. Okay, that because that's yeah, it's different countries different actually. Some countries will take the transcript from the college. Okay, that's good. Now, once you have all these documents from your college, could you tell me like what is the process of getting the license or registration in Australia? Like, can you just give me like a small description about how you applied and how you can actually get the job? Like, you apply through the system, then you actually write the exams, or do you actually come straight getting the license, or how do you do it actually?
So when I applied, which was almost 2 years back, we did have an exam from India, which was like an MCQ kind of exam. So we had to clear that exam, and we need around about 80% of score to just apply for the membership. So it's just the beginning. That's called as level 1, just the pre-level 1 status. So at the moment, they don't have to write that exam. They have cancelled that exam. Instead, it's just that we just spend an amount for membership and just apply. So they will just check. There is a verification. They'll check all the documents and things like that. And if it's all good, they will give us a membership.
Okay, so
but it's
back in the day,
not a
you said to get
full-term membership.
come
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, it's not a full-term membership again. So it's just a membership. It's called like an associate or intern membership when we apply from overseas.
Gotcha. And once you have that, then what do you do actually?
Okay, so of course you should be having an employment here. That's usually that's the process. So and then you begin your internship. So first,
how do you?
So the
sorry for that. So you said that once you have this membership, you have to have an employment. Like, how do you get that employment? Like, can you apply? That's actually one of my questions. Can you apply directly from India to a place? For instance, if there's a hospital or there's a clinic in Australia and they have an opening, and how do you find that out? Like, do you have to have connection, or do you have to know somebody from Australia, or you can actually, like find it through LinkedIn or Indeed, or how do you actually apply for a job?
Yeah, I did find it via LinkedIn. So basically, my brother just sent me this LinkedIn thing, and I just applied. And then I had 2 to 3 sets of interviews and things like that. So of course, even if you don't have any connections, you do get jobs via LinkedIn. But when I applied, they were badly seeking people from overseas to work as an audiologist. But at the moment, I'm not sure. There are opportunities, but they are not hiring too many people from overseas and things like that. They are hiring still, but not too many like how it was when I came. So now, so you can apply via LinkedIn. But most of the, I work in Amplifon. So Amplifon do hire people from LinkedIn, and they do give us internship and things like that. But many of the other companies and hospitals, they do not hire just like that from overseas, unless and otherwise you do have your practitioner number here.
Okay, got you. So, like you said, once you apply through the LinkedIn or Indeed, you find the job. Once they hire you, then you said you had to have that membership, right? Or
yeah, at the moment it's like that. So when I used to do it, we did have this exam and things like that. So we could, even with the exam, we could just come, and to start all the things we need
the employment.
The employment. But of course, they do have audiologist exam, which is called as a DRS exam. So we can still write this audiologist exam from overseas now. It's like the main exam. But even if you clear that exam, you'll have to finish this internship. Does that make sense?
Okay, so kind of confused because you said, so for instance, if I'm applying, I go through the LinkedIn or Indeed, find an opening in Australia, apply for it, and then once they do the interview and everything, if I get the employment, then you're telling me that I can actually just either come to Australia and write that exam, what is called DS60, or you said?
So first, I'll just let you know what are the different sorts of exams which we have, and then we can come back to this point. So basically, at the moment, there are 3 different types of exams.
Yeah, let's talk about it right now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So first one is just a midterm, which you do it after 1 month of your internship. So which is called after the completion of your level 1, you do give this midterm exam. It's actually very simple, pretty much simple exam, where it's just like a viva. And it's very easy to clear. So that's the first exam. So once you complete that during the level 2, you are still in the, under the supervisions and things like that. After that, you do have 2 types of exams. One is HRS, which is called as Hearing Rehabilitation Specialist exam, which is this audiometrist kind of exam. So once you clear this HRS, you are an audiometrist.
Okay.
So along with that, there's a third exam which is called as DRS, which
Okay.
is like a diagnostic rehabilitation specialist exam.
Okay.
So if you clear DRS, then you are an audiologist.
Okay, that makes sense. So you talked about this internship. So how long this like internship is for?
I think now it is around 6 months. I'm not so sure about that
Gotcha.
because now they every financial year, which is July, they change the rules.
That makes sense.
So again, now it's going to be July, and they are going to change the rules. But usually it's around 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So first initial month will be like purely observation. You will have a supervisor. You just observe,
Okay.
and during the second level, you will have your supervisor. So the supervisor will be observing you.
Okay.
And then once that's done, you can still work anywhere wherein your company asks you to work, but the supervisor still have to check your files and documentations and things like that until you clear all the exams.
Until you finish the last exam. And once you finish the last exam, you get the license as an audiologist.
Yeah, if you clear DRS,
The
then
third
you
one.
get a license as audiologist. Yes. If you
Okay.
clear HRS, then it is audiometrist.
Got you. That's a level 2. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes much sense. So you come, so once you find the job, once you go to the Australia, then you have this internship, then you have 3 levels of exam. Once you finish the final one, that's when you get actual license, right?
So now coming back there, this DRS exam, audiologist exam,
Mhm.
comes only twice in a year, April and October.
Okay.
So this exam you can write from overseas.
Okay. Okay. Now you can write it from overseas. Okay.
Yeah, now you can write it from overseas.
Okay.
It's not an easy exam, to be frank.
Mhm.
It's a bit difficult. So usually people find it a bit challenging to write it from overseas. So usually people don't take that path
Mhm.
because the government rules and standards are a bit different here. So only once you start working, you will know how to answer because it's more like a clinical based online examination and it's descriptive in nature.
Okay.
So, but you still have that option to write it from there.
Okay.
Even though you clear it from overseas, you still have to go through these internship, but you don't have to, write this audiometrist exams and things like that in
Oh,
between. You still have to be under supervision. So that's the catch between or the difference between both of that.
that makes sense. So just clear me if I'm wrong. So you told me if you get the job, come to Australia, do the internship. During the internship, you have 3 levels, first, second, and third, and you have to write these exams. And the final one is the exam DRS you said, right? Once you clear that, then you get the license. Or you actually get the job from India and you have the option to write this exam twice in a year. And then once you write that exam from India, if you clear that, you don't have to write the exams, the other 2 exams. But you can come to Australia, but you still have to go through the internship.
Yeah. So another thing is midterm is mandatory.
Okay.
So when you come here, midterm is mandatory. At the moment, so let's say that for example, I did my DRS first because again it's time basis. You have to complete these many hours to attempt this exam
Okay.
when you are actually working here.
Okay.
So what happened with me was first this April exam came. So for my HRS exam, my hours were not sufficient. So I first attempted DRS
Okay.
and I cleared DRS during that time. But during that time, even if I clear DRS, even if I become an audiologist, I still have to attend the audiometrist exam.
Why? That's how the
Yeah,
system
but
was?
now that's how the system was. But now, like how you asked why, they changed the rule. So if you clear this DRS before your HRS, you don't have to attempt HRS because
Okay.
you are ultimately becoming an audiologist. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. That makes sense. So one question. So when you said this midterm, what do you mean by that midterm? I got confused when you said midterm.
Yeah, that's just an exam to check our knowledge if we can work because once we clear level 1 we will be actually taking clients, so we should be knowing all the protocols.
Okay.
Basically it's just how to diagnose basic things about hearing aids and things like that.
So you said so midterm is the first exam, the level 1.
Yes, after the level one is basically just an internship, just
Observation.
an observation.
Mhm.
So after this level one, during the level two, you attempt this midterm.
Okay, midterm. Then you have the HRS and then you have the DRS.
Yeah, that's correct.
Gotcha. That's good. That's clear. So one more question. First, you said you had to, like, when you came, you had to write an exam and get an 80%, but now you can actually just pay. And what is that actually? I'm confused. So just talk about now. So if now so
Yeah.
you had to have a membership?
Yes, you have to, as I said, we just give couple of documents like marks, cards, IELTS, and IELTS you should be having overall 7 with
Okay.
no bands less than 6.5
Okay. Okay. Oh, you still have to have IELTS for this one. Okay.
for the membership. Yes, it's not only for the visa, even
Mhm.
for the membership, there is this catch.
So
You still need IELTS with
where do
it.
you get the membership from? The audiology,
So
what do you
there
get it
are
from?
two different, yeah, there are two different bodies. One is Audiology Australia. So
Uh-huh.
usually those people who study here go ahead with Audiology Australia membership.
Uh-huh.
Second one is Australian College of Audiology. So usually I am most people from overseas go ahead with Australian College of Audiology
Okay.
because the process is a bit much, simple and things like that. So the membership body is called as Australian College of Audiology, like how we have Isha and things like that.
Got you.
The same thing. Yeah.
So to get that
So
membership, you have to have a job. I mean, you have to have an employment. Is that what you said?
no, you don't have, no. So membership you can just apply by paying certain amount and
Got you.
also by giving, yeah,
Your
also by giving
documents,
all the
whatever they
documents.
ask you.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
one more question.
That's
So what about the other way? So to apply for the job, you have to have the membership. Is that right?
depends upon your employer.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
then one more question. So do you have to have this membership though?
Yes, you cannot work without this membership in Australia.
Okay. All right. So now to keep it simple, everything, I'll just tell what you told me and then correct me if I'm wrong. So you told me you had to have this membership with the department, like just like Asha in America and India, we have
Yeah.
Isha. So you have to have that membership in Australia. That's one side. On the other side, you apply for the job. Once you get the job, you have to do the internship. You can do the internship once you come to the Australia. You have to do that. So and then you have 3 levels. Then you have to write the exams, the midterm, the HRS and DRS. And once you clear that, then you get actual license. And now you have the option to do the DRS from India. If you clear that, you can actually come to Australia and then start working as an audiologist, but you still have to do the internship, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
correct.
good. Okay, that's good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right. Oh, wow. That's a lengthy process. Okay, now, do you have to have, next question is like, do you have to have experience to work as an audiologist or apply for a job in Australia?
Yes. At least 1 year.
Okay, at least 1 year of experience is good. Okay. So also, can you tell me what are the different ways to actually come to Australia? So you came as a PR, right? What are the other ways you can
Yeah.
apply actually? Can you come through spouse visa or okay, can you come through study visa or like, is there any other ways?
Yeah. So the best way to come is by applying permanent residency because you are not under anyone. The problem with work visa is if the employer decides that okay they no longer wants you, you might have to go back.
Okay.
So because it's easy to get a PR, it's not too difficult if you have points.
Okay.
So even under PR, we do have two types. One is 189, which
Mhm.
is like the normal PR, and there is 190, which is like a regional PR.
Okay.
So the only clause there is you might have to work in a regional place for around 2 years or something, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So that's the first option.
Mhm.
Second, so that's again, it's a point tested stream wherein you do get points for your IELTS, you do get points if you are single, you do get points for your age, you do get points for your masters, and certain
Gotcha.
criteria.
So first
It's
one
like
is the PR option and second one is?
second one is work visa.
Okay.
So when I say work visa, you can apply work visa
Mhm.
like just like that. You can just apply work visa and come here and search a job.
Okay.
Third one is employed sponsored work visa.
So that's the one you said like you
So
apply through LinkedIn and then they provide, once you get hired, they would actually give you the visa.
yes, so you don't have to worry anything. It's the employer who will
Employer
be
do that.
doing everything for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is 482. And if you want to study something, then you can come as a student, do masters, and then
Okay.
change it to, yeah, even that's an option. So
Okay.
these are the four different ways. And also, of course, you can come as like a spouse,
Okay.
and yeah, even that's possible.
That's possible too. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Now, can you tell me how can I apply for a job? If I'm like you, now that we know all the process, how can I apply for a job in Australia? So can I just go to can you tell me some websites where I can actually look for jobs?
I'm not sure if I'm the right person to answer that, but I did apply via LinkedIn.
Okay.
But I know that many of those people whom I, came across here, they did have reference here.
No.
Actually, reference works very well. So if you know someone, and you can actually refer, and you can even get money out of it, to be frank.
Oh,
So if you feel that that person is good enough, you can actually refer, and after after all the interviews and things like that, if that person is good enough, you can actually come here and work.
basically,
So
it's
the
saying that
employer,
if you know someone, that would be
yeah,
much better. Also, and
yeah,
also
yeah.
you told me that you can actually use LinkedIn and Indeed as well, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. As I said, I applied via LinkedIn.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that's good actually. I mean, LinkedIn is it's a strong tool. And again, I
yes.
guess if you know like the Amplifon, and if you're working for the company already in India, you can actually talk to them and also move there, right?
Yeah, I think if you're working in Amplifon in India, if you have an experience of greater than 3 years or something, automatically you can ask them. If I'm not wrong, you can
Okay.
ask them to,
Okay.
if in case if you come across overseas and things like that, you can actually ask them to sponsor you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, guys, if anybody who's listening this, and if these are the informations that like what she went through and what she has. So if you are making any mistakes or if you have more information, you can always put in the comment section. So next question is are they still? So you told, well, you already answered me. So they're still hiring, but they're not hiring us by like back
I
in the day,
think
right?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I think many people are moving from UK and things like that.
A lot
So
of people,
of course
right?
they, yeah. So and again they will be English speaking in UK. So there's a lot of difference there. So maybe that could be one of the reasons.
Okay.
Um, you know,
Right.
Still they are hiring, but not as frequent as how it was before. Yeah.
Gotcha. And last question. Do you have any suggestions for the people who are actually looking for a job to come to Australia?
I would definitely say apply PR,
Apply for.
if you can,
Okay.
because that's the best way to come. You don't have any liabilities and things
Okay.
like that.
Okay. So when
So
you
you
say
just, if you have,
apply for PR, is there any agency they can go through or?
actually, I didn't go ahead via any agency. My brother applied for me.
Okay.
If you have enough documents, so basically any visa when it comes to Australian government, if you have all the relevant documents,
Mhm.
you actually don't need an agent. You can just apply.
You
But
can.
the only thing is you have to give them sufficient documents so that they don't keep
Gotcha.
on asking us again to submit and things like that. So if you are pretty, it's just a matter of uploading things. So even if you don't have an agent,
Mhm.
it's actually simple.
Yeah.
So
Is it
yeah.
just do you happen to remember the website of it?
Uh, um, I maybe I can just comment it. I don't remember it
Okay.
exactly, but
Okay.
maybe if you want, I can just comment the
Yeah, if you
website
don't mind, you
for
just come
both.
and
Yeah,
you just come and
yeah,
put it in the
yeah,
comment section. And what I would do is actually I would actually pin it so that it will come in on
yeah,
top of it. All right,
yeah,
so that is it. All right, once again, thank you for sharing all the information. Like I said, not many people do that, and thank you for taking the
yeah.
time again because it's day and night. Here it's night, and so it's 13-hour difference, and it's morning there for you. And so again, thanks for taking the time to share all the information.
That's all good. All good. Thank you so much.
There you go. Like I said, these are information that you cannot find on YouTube or on Google. These have to come from people who actually has gone through the process and are working in those countries. Again, like I said, if you find this video beneficial, please subscribe and share to your friends like in the groups like college groups, audiology groups, or speech and hearing groups so that this would help at least one person. Also in the future, I'm also planning to make videos on how to get jobs in other countries like Canada, Ireland, and Gulf countries. So stay tuned. Thank you.